Also, what is the concept of trinity? Is it the same in Christianity and Hinduism? In Hinduism, trinity being Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and they're married to 3 different goddesses of Saraswati, Lakshmi, Parvati, respectively. What does that really imply? Well, in Christianity, they are not married to anyone. The Logos has no marriage. Okay. They're not trying to promote the family life in that aspect and societal thing with the powers and etc. But Brahma is the absolute, Vishnu represents the preserver, and Shiva represents the destroyer, the one that cuts through the illusion. That's all, it's the path. You got Brahman, which is realization. You got Vishnu, which is society. And Shiva, the one that wants to go towards Brahman, the one that's on the path. That's all. Christianity, you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The Father would be Brahman, God, aspect. Then you have the Son, which would be basically society, or one that's wanting to reach Brahman. And you have the Holy Ghost, or the way to get there, which would be the essence of what is Shakti, or the pathway to get there. Okay. I suppose you could also say that Christ would represent the way society should be. I mean, ultimately, the values that he tried to instill. Little variance, but not a lot. They all just keep pointing you back to the way is through the path. That's it. Either that, or you follow one of the ones that's telling you how to live your life in society. Through right action, etc. In a post you made yesterday about a Good Zen article, it concludes that even if you make the slightest effort to reach enlightenment, you will never reach it. It is like trying to hold space in your hands. There are a lot of masters who say that, but some, like Ramana and Guruji, say that only the one who practices continuously with surrender reaches enlightenment through grace. There seems to be a contradiction in the two approaches. My question is effort necessary or not? There's really not a contradiction. It's again a paradox. Contradiction and paradox are two entirely different things. One has to put the practices into motion. But it's the practices that take one to realization, not your own effort. It's the transmission in the practices that break through. Not your ego doing it. Your ego is not going to get you there. The ego has to be laid aside. Yes, the ego has to be challenged in effort. The ego is not going to want to do the practices. It's going to rebel. So yes, it takes effort. In the beginning, and eventually one goes into surrender. Surrender is willingly. Effort means I'm going to do it, maybe not so willingly. I'll do it, but... But the more one surrenders, the more grace that comes. If you think you're doing it under your own steam, it's by your effort, then you're not seeing the grace of the practices. It comes by grace. Like the wings of a plane, you have to have both. Okay. So you can't, say that I'm going to get to enlightenment. The I never gets to enlightenment. The me story never gets enlightened. The me is not going to go into some vast by its great practices and come out enlightened. The me's going to die, okay? And if it doesn't die, then you've had an experience of it, that's all. It's not enlightenment, it's not realization. If a me comes back out of it, then you've had a taste, a glimpse. That's all. So yeah, it's a paradox.